Let's do this, motherfucker, bitch.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. We are the podcast that's here to talk about basically anything that you fucking want. And if you have a long commute or you're just bullshitting all day, well, that's what we're here for. We're the Genius Brain Podcast, baby. We got Joe motherfucking Jitsukawa every Thursday.
Hello, konnichiwa.
Konnichiwa, you stupid bitches.
Konnichiwa, mother asses.
Yeah. You know, there's an interesting topic that I feel that a lot of Asian Americans, and, you know, we typically, I guess, you know, because we are Asian American men, you know, we do have ideas about these topics that we don't really kind of focus a lot of our videos on these things because it kind of comes off really corny. But
yeah,
I feel like I do want to put my 2 cents in on this topic just because I feel there's a lot of people out there who aren't us or me, you, Bart, or whatever that have a very specific opinion about Asian masculinity.
Yeah.
That's the exact opposite of us. What's being perpetuated? I said perpetrated.
Perpetrated. Well, there's different schools of thought.
Yeah.
Right. And to me, it's all about the narrative. People want to treat it as if there's like we're a monolith and we think one fucking way and the Asian male experience is one fucking way, which I highly disagree with. And in academia and maybe like culture studies or even the guys out there that are kind of like leading this thought, I don't agree with. And I think that if we don't speak up and if we don't show the world that we fucking disagree with this thought, what's going to do is I think it's going to poison our culture, which is what it is doing. And I think there's a difference between the objective truth and how you define it. I mean, there's a difference between the objective truth, right? Facts and someone's opinion and someone's basic, like their own experience is not the truth experience for all fucking Asian Americans. Yeah. But people out there talking as if it is. Yeah. For example, a lot of people that have low self-esteem, they think, oh, you know, it's hard being an Asian man because I can't get dates. But to me, it's not an Asian problem.
That's a you problem, bitch.
That's a low self-esteem problem.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with a woman's perception of your of your value because of your race. That just goes to show what you think, how fucking dumb women are. You think women are that fucking dumb that they'll choose like a race for that's it.
Yeah.
Like that. And if all women are that fucking dumb that they'll choose a mate based off of race and they think that you're pretty or hot or whatever based off of your race, then that means you think most women out there are fucking idiots.
Yeah. And that's not to say that those type of people don't exist because we know those type of people who have a certain type. Like I know like white chicks that only date black dudes. I know Asian people that only date Asian girls. So it's like, you know, we could kind of use that same excuse right back at you, right? They're like, well, if you're saying that certain women only don't find Asian men attractive because there's a stereotype that Asian dudes are fucking ugly, that might just because you're actually fucking ugly. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's true. But then people will make this argument, right? They'll be like, well, this is because the white man controls everything and there's a Western standard of beauty. And because there's a Western standard of beauty, like whatever, right? But then all these bitches that have been saying this in the 90s and the early 2000s, right? It's been the same weak, low self-esteem argument. Because I heard this shit and I didn't believe it. And I was like, y'all just incels. Before there was even a word called incel, I was thinking, y'all are cock blocking yourself with that stupid mentality, right? But they'll also turn around and be like, well, you know, this is Hollywood's doing because there's no fucking, you know, Asian roles that are sexy. So we don't looked upon as sexy. And I'm like, bro, it's not the white man's job to get us laid.
Yeah.
So fuck that. You know, it's your job to put your best foot forward and get out there and fucking socialize and fucking have fun and connect with people and have romantic relationships.
Also, I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is with your obsession with trying to get white women to like you.
And why do they put them on a pedestal?
Yeah,
I don't understand.
I don't get that shit either. Like, what is this thing that it's like, oh, white women don't like? Why do you want them to like you so bad? What is this obsession?
To the value of an Asian incel, they're so race obsessed, right? that I think they put white women at the highest of the totem pole.
So
races.
it's like a fucking badge. It's like I got a white girl as an Asian guy. Is that what that shit is?
I think it's like this. If the way that they see the world is different races have different value, and they see themselves as an Asian man has the lowest value, then obviously what they're looking at is women the same way. They're looking at women, white women, maybe at the top value and like, I don't know, whatever levels that they believe.
Yeah.
So if they see themselves as low value on the totem pole, then they're looking at women the same way.
And it's very odd too, because they go like, these hot white girls, they would never date an Asian guy. It's like, yeah, they wouldn't date you. And it's not even the white girl part. It's the hot girl wouldn't date you, whether they're white, black, Mexican, South, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
The hot girl wouldn't fucking date you
Exactly.
because of your personality set. Also, you're probably fucking hideous. And this is coming from a guy who's not that attractive himself either. You're probably not that good looking, dude.
I ran into a fucker like this during my Europe trip.
Yeah.
I ran into a fucking Asian American. We were all hanging out, right? And there were European girls there that spoke English. We're all just hanging out. And the cool thing about Europe is like they're really into culture. They can have intellectual conversations. A lot of them are very educated and worldly. So we'll have these talks about the difference in culture. And this fucker, he comes out saying, I don't like white girls in America because he goes, I don't like white girls in America. They don't give me the time of day. But I want a girlfriend in Europe because European girls, they all like me. And I was like,
They all like you, bro?
Yeah. Or like basically he didn't say that exactly, but he was just saying how like European girls give him a chance. And then he goes off to saying some stupid shit about like, I want a powerful passport. Like if I date a European girl, I don't want like a shit Eastern European country. Like I want like a top Western country. And the girl started looking at him like, who is this fucktard, right? He's oblivious.
Oh, he's saying this in front of women.
Exactly. He's cock blocking himself. And I'm looking at him and I'm all like, no, that's not true.
Like shut the fuck up, dude.
Right. And I'm like, white women, they talk to people just as black women talk to people. Like, what are you saying? Like, yes, racism does exist. I'm not even going to deny the fact that it doesn't exist, but I'm saying like most people are friendly, normal fucking people.
Because it's just an easy way out. It's an easy excuse for you to say, because of my ethnicity, that's the reason why these things are happening to me. Now, I get it on a systemic level of racism and all this other shit, but we're just talking about attraction in general, right?
Yeah, and humans, like, here's the thing, man. Like, and I was sitting there with some other, like, British Vietnamese dudes, and then they were looking at me, and they're like, yo, peoples is peoples, bro. That's what he says. Peoples is peoples, right? And then I'm like, does this happen in the UK or Europe? And he's like, nah, like, look around you. Like,
Everybody's with everybody.
and he's right. I saw Indian dudes with, like, Russian girls, and I saw, like, Asian guys with, like, Spanish girls or whatever. And, you know, vice versa. There's just everyone's dating each other, right? And he's like, why is America so race obsessed? And Asian men there don't have this feeling or low self-esteem, or maybe it was the guys I was around, because the guys I were around, they were straight players. Like they were not afraid of women. Like we would go to the club or we would go have hookah or whatever, or shisha, and they don't have any shame in just saying, hi, what's your name? Like, let's have a conversation. But that one boy, the Asian American dude, he was quite a bit of an incel. Like he kind of gets weird around women. Like
I could tell if he's having that conversation in front of a fucking date, you fucking moron. What are you doing, dude?
Right?
Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, are you that socially fucking stupid? Like, you're on a date and they're white girls. So if they're white women, why the fuck would you have a conversation about how much you hate white women?
Right.
What are you, stupid? Dumb?
No, but I think this is the thing, man. Everyone that has that mentality of, oh, it's tough for us Asian guys because we can't do this or whatever, right? To me, they don't realize the low self-esteem that they have and the lack of social skills. Because everyone knows that it's not these criteria that get you like a relationship or whatever. It's the energy and connection that you have with the human being.
Yeah.
If you understand social skills, if you understand the ability to let someone feel comfortable, wanted, accepted, loved, the things that make you a human being, not fucking categories, that's like, duh, fool. You don't get it? But we do have a pretty, you know, I don't want to say big, but a vocal group of Asian Americans that feel as though that this is the truth. And I want to break that shit because it's not the truth. But they'll have these excuses. They'll be like, oh, it's because you have a following. And I'm like, motherfucker, before I had a following, I was talking to all kinds of girls.
Yeah.
I didn't see it as like Asian girls are the only ones that'll date me.
Yeah.
I was like, I grew up around a lot of Latina and Asian, but some of my best memories were, you know, with like Black and Latina girls. Like, I mean, and it's not even like I'm a fucking player. It's just me. She's pretty. She's attracted to me.
You shoot your shot. That's what happens.
Let's go to the movies. Let's have some, you know, like what the fuck? And I was broke, fucking skinny as shit, had a shit car. None of those things mattered. It's all about making a goddamn connection. And for me, I'm pulling my hair because these fools are so fucking stupid. Like, they don't think that it's that easy.
Well, and also too, what's problematic about that type of conversation, especially if you're like an Asian whatever influencer, right? Is that you are under the guise of saying that, number one, I am for my culture. I want people to think that we're dope. But the rhetoric, the language that you have doesn't speak for that shit.
Yeah.
You are saying that the crutch in your life is because you're Asian, but you want to be recognized as an Asian leader. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's not leadership.
Exactly.
That's bitch shit. To me, I've always been very fucking proud.
Yeah.
Because I don't see the same shit and negative things that they do.
Yeah.
Where they see, oh, Asians don't get fucking roles on film, I see, good, less fucking competition for me, motherfucker. When they see, oh, they think Asians are a bunch of nerd, I'm like, good. They're intimidated of our fucking intelligence.
Yeah.
Let's use that against them. I'm a fucking leader. Like, those guys, they're out here complaining like a little bitch. And to me, that makes us look worse.
Yeah.
If you're a prominent Asian figure and you're out there going like, oh, well, you know, the stereotype is this and that, and I'm out here to break that shit, you sound like a little bitch that wants respect.
Yeah.
Just fucking go out there and take it, goddammit.
It's so weird to hear that type of language too for a lot of people, because they sometimes they go, well, it's because you grew up this way, you grew up that. You know what? You're damn straight. Like,
yeah.
I did grow up around a lot of strong Asian men. So even to counter your argument, they exist out there.
They exist, but here's
bundles.
the thing. I think that the Asians that are doing hard shit aren't fucking talking and complaining.
They're not.
The most vocal fuckers are the ones that are the weakest because they're the first ones to start bitching. But don't get me wrong, like, we do need to speak up. We do need to address problems. We do need to fight for our rights. All those things I agree with. It's the way we go by it, right? So, like, I just saw this little neck shark thing. Ben Baller was basically, he was talking about how a lot of Asians are soft and we need to, like, toughen up. And I do agree. It's just that there's a vocal group within our community that they represent the voice, and their way of doing things is that it sounds like bitching. It doesn't sound powerful. It doesn't sound confident. It sounds like an insecure bunch of fuckers that are like, please stop treating us this way.
This podcast is brought to you by Postmates. Oh my goodness gracious. What can I say about Postmates that I just haven't said before? Postmates is the best. It's like my best friend that will do anything and everything for me any time of the night. Because sometimes, I don't know, at like 11 p.m., I wants me a bottle of wine from a beverage place, but I'm too lazy to go out and get it myself. Well, that's why I whip open my Postmates app and it gets it for me. You have no idea how many times I drank myself into an oblivion and I couldn't wake up to get myself a good bowl of pho. Well, guess what? I didn't have to, because I just hit up Postmates, baby. Yes, I love Postmates. All you got to do is download the app for iOS or Android for free. And then just browse the local restaurants and businesses, and you track your delivery in real time. You could see, like on this map where you see the person just come up to you with the food. You just got to let them know how you want to receive it. And there you go. Bing, bang, boom. You got delivery to any of your restaurants, or a majority of them that you like, straight to your freaking door. I love Postmates. For a limited time, Postmates is giving our listeners $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days. To start your free deliveries, download the app and use code BRAIN. That's code BRAIN for $100 of free delivery credit for your first 7 days when you download the Postmates app. Anything you need, anytime you need it, Postmate it. Download Postmates and save with code BRAIN. Yeah. You know what's interesting too about that? I think one of the strengths that I thought, I think it's once again, it's language and perspective that I thought was really great about Asian people was the fact that we didn't have to say shit. We would do shit.
I love that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, so we didn't have to go on Twitter, talk all this shit. They go, Asian people are dope. It's like, of course we're dope. We own all half the businesses in this fucking neighborhood.
Exactly.
We're making fucking money. Our kids are going to Ivy League colleges. We are taking up a majority of the roster in your highly academic schools.
UCs have over 40% Asian population.
Yeah, so it's like we don't have to say it. We do it. That's what we're about.
That's what we've always been about. So that's what I was taught, right? My aunt, what she told me is during World War II, you know, Japanese people were rounded up, taken to the camps, whatever. And there was rumors or just the word spread out in the camps. The reason why they threw us in camps was, they thought we were foreigners. They didn't throw in the German Americans, the Italians or whatever because they thought they were full-blooded Americans. This is what we need to do. As a community, we need to go in. We need to send our kids to the military. We need to have them take high positions in government, in military, in community. We need to speak English proficiently. We need to go in there and become a part of the culture to the point where they can never do this to our people ever again.
Yeah.
It wasn't, let's go and fucking hit those bongo drums outside and march. It's like, no, fuck that shit, you know? Yeah. So the first Asian American, one of the generals was a Japanese American. First senator, politician, what do you call it? Congressman. They're all Japanese Americans because that fucking fight to go in and being like, all right, we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. So within our community, what I was always taught is every time you got to fight for some shit, take it the fuck over where it's effective. And I get it. There is a time and place to protest and use your voice. If it wasn't for that, we would have never got the apology from the U.S. to the Japanese American community. We have to battle it out in court. But to me, that's still having a voice where it's effective. You go to court, you do the fucking debates, right? You go and you speak you rally people up for something that's effective and it makes sense. If you're out there and you're bitching about Asian guys have it hard having a hard time getting laid because we're not in movies, that's a stupid fucking reason to be fighting for something.
You know, this is what I kind of appreciate about Black culture too. There's people who have differing opinions about this, but when it's almost as if some of these guys who talk about, you know, getting the white woman, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll hear a lot of Asian dudes, they see an Asian dude with the white girl, they go, yeah, fuck, that guy got one, right? Yeah. But conversely, like in the Black culture, when you see a Black dude with a beautiful Black woman, they celebrate that woman. They go, you found a beautiful Black woman to be with.
Yeah.
For some reason, like within our culture, I don't feel like there's this thing where you see an Asian dude with a beautiful Asian woman, you go, that's amazing. Like, I'm glad that you found somebody within your culture that's beautiful. But for like they celebrate the fact that you got somebody outside of the race, which is cool too. That's fine. I mean, we live in America. We're a melting pot of cultures, or we're supposed to be. But for some reason, it's not celebrated in our culture, in our Asian American culture. It's weird.
Yeah, and I heard from some guys when they see like an Asian girl with a white guy or a Mexican guy, they see her as a race traitor.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, there are
I know.
There
I know what you're talking about.
There are weird people, just guys and like just both male and female Asians that they have some type of weird identity thing where they almost are racist. Like there's that self-hate. There is a group, right? Because it sucks, man. There's like a compilation of cuts of women saying shit, Asian women, like, oh, I'm not really that attracted to Asian guys, even though I'm Asian. They're pretty ugly, or like they say some really fucked up shit. And for me, that self-hate shit is weird too. It's just as weird as people, you know, that are hella incel and only want like top-notch Latin girls or white girls or whatever, right? The way that they're approaching it, there's a level of this, I'm ashamed that I'm even Asian because Asian people embarrass me.
Yeah.
And I know there's a sector of people like that. I'm not even going to deny that they exist. But here's the thing, though, like when people are just generally in love and you see Asian girl with a white guy or whatever, there are Asian guys that look at it and they're like, oh, they're taking all our women.
Yeah.
And it's fucking weird.
I think it's important to note too that I think when we say these things, we're not saying that those people who've had these like anecdotal or very specific experiences where they felt this type of like, I guess, inter racism, that it hasn't happened or it doesn't exist. But the problem is that what I see is that you're taking personal experiences, or sometimes, I don't even want to say sometimes, a lot of these people that I've heard this from that had this argument, dude, you can't even get any girl to date you.
Yeah.
So where is your opinion about this specific race who you want that they don't like you? It's like, it's not just the white girl, it's the black girl, it's the Mexican girl, it's the Asian girl.
They all don't like you.
Yeah, it's anything with the pussy basically doesn't fucking like you.
Yeah.
I even probably like bitches, like actual female dogs probably won't even fucking walk up to you. You dumb fucking sick fuck.
And when people put like one race or one type on a pedestal, right? Do they even think, hey, maybe you have so much confidence with Asian girls because you're so used to that.
Yeah.
And anytime you're speaking to a Latin girl, black girl, white girl, whatever it is, you're so scared and you're so not yourself that you act differently, which invokes a different type of reaction in them.
Yeah.
And they never see it that way because they're socially fucking stupid.
Yeah, like maybe you're comfortable in your comfort zone and so you could be yourself a little more. And then when you see somebody outside of what you normally approach, you don't know how to act. Like you act weird. Like how many times have we seen this shit where you've seen a dude that clearly didn't grow up around a single black person or whatever, and the moment you see somebody with a little melanin in their skin, they're just like, hey, what's up, fam? What's poppin'? What's good? It's like, bro, what the fuck?
I've seen that so many times.
It's like, where the fuck did this come from, you suburb bitch? Like,
if they're Asian, it's so fucking embarrassing, dude. Because I'm like, why the fuck? Dude, you grew up in a fucking suburb full of white people, and like, where did you pick this up?
Yeah, like just chill, relax, man. It's not.
Why do you extra urbanize yourself around black people? The fuck?
I see it so often too, and it cracks me up. And you know, I think everybody does that like shape shifting thing a little bit, right? Because we want people to be comfortable around their whatever they're comfortable with when we have conversation, right?
Yeah.
We all do that a little bit. Like when a cop pulls me over, you're damn straight. I'm like, hello, officer. Like I definitely do that shit too. When I have meetings with white people, I definitely speak a little different.
Yeah,
you know?
of course, because we're humans and we want to mirror.
Yeah.
But the excessive level of that is just fucking weird.
It's
man.
hysterical, man.
It is pretty weird.
Like, yo, I know this one homegirl too. Like, every time, I fucking shit you not, you see anybody with like a drop of black in them, she just comes out, she goes, okay, what's up, what's popping, what's good? It's like, bitch, shut the fuck up. And you know, we had this conversation. I remember like we were drinking, I got a little drunk, and I kind of called it out on that shit. I was like, yo, how come every time you see one fucking black person, like all of a sudden you over here like doing that bon qui like fucking.
She probably doesn't even know she does it.
Probably, you know what the funny shit is? The first thing she said was, she's like, you're not the only person that grew up around black people. I was like, I know, but you didn't.
Because you know I know who you're talking about.
I was like,
it's
I know,
so funny.
I know facts. Like you didn't.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm not like the black ambassador or whatever, whatnot. But it's just it's a really odd thing because you could tell too when she does that. Though they feel a little uncomfortable too,
and it's inauthentic.
Yeah, and they're trying.
You're not reading the room.
Exactly. Yeah. And sometimes too, I see them like they're trying to entertain her a little bit. They're like, yeah, she's trying to be a part of the culture, so why the fuck not? Which is really dope of them. But for me, when I see that sometimes, it's like, you didn't have to do that. You're a great person.
Yeah.
You're just dope in general. You're a talented, fucking energetic human being. If you would have just been yourself, you don't think that these people would have just accepted you for what you were?
Yep.
Like that's all good. You don't have to do that shit. And trust me, like I said, I understand. Like when Mariel sees it sometimes too. Like so it's funny because the last place that she lived in, the front what do you call it, the security people at her apartment complex, they're all black, right? And a majority of them are black, but every now and then there's like I forgot her name, I think her name was Shelly, but she was like a white lady that would be there. And Mariel looks at me after we would go in a few times. She goes, you know what's really funny about you? I'm like, what's funny? She goes, when you speak to the white lady Shelly, you're very like, it seems like you're almost a little cold. But the moment you see like a black woman there, like you guys talk, you chop it up, like you're super comfortable around them. And I was like, well, it's because that's what I grew up around. Like I know how we joke about the same things, we laugh about the same things.
So you feel like
I feel like
culturally
it makes sense.
You're comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like and
then you're walking on eggshells maybe because you're not too used to the white lady.
Yeah, because I don't know. I'm not comfortable. Like,
you don't know if you might offend her or you might be unprofessional or just the boundaries are weird.
For sure. And that's stuff that's built in my head. It's just not something that I'm used to all the time. Like I've gotten better now. Now I'm just myself 100% all the time. But for sure, like if I'm around like Black, Asian, Mexican, it's easier for me because that's what I've seen growing up my whole life.
Yeah.
So if we spark up a conversation and we chop it up, it's just going to be naturally easier for me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I know how to joke around with like Black folk, Asian folk, Mexican folk.
Yep.
Because that's just, we share the same sense of humor. So even when Mariel saw it, I think like she kind of thinks that sometimes I'm mirroring the culture, which I understand too. Like I get it, which it to a certain level and to a certain extent I am, but it's something that I grew up with my whole life.
It's a level of comfort.
Yeah.
Because people that are international that are listening to this, they really don't get how segregated the U.S. is. And we are a race obsessed group of people.
You know, you mentioned that, and I do agree. We are very, very race obsessed here.
And very category. Like oh no, I'm Asian American. And you know what's funny is I was talking to a Canadian friend of mine, and then she was saying like, you know, in Canada, we don't do that. Asian Canadian.
Yeah.
White Canadian, whatever Canadian.
There's a couple of YouTubers that make videos about that shit.
Yeah, we're just Canadians. We're just fucking Canadians. And then it's like, well, or you're from Montreal or Quebec. You know, you're Quebec, you're Frenchy, whatever. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And yeah, there's brown people, white people, whatever, but they're not so damn race obsessed. They're just people.
People are very label obsessed though. Like they, for some reason, for a society that I always read up all the time, they go, don't label me, don't tell me what to be. But the moment somebody quote unquote mislabels them, they're like, what? That's the wrong label. It's like, wait, you can't have it both ways. Yeah. Do you like labels or do you not? Do you want to just exist and be yourself, or do you want a label to tie you to what you really are?
Yeah, because is your personality a category, or would you rather define who you are independently?
Yeah.
I always go for independent, right? Mm-hmm. And then people or students always ask me when I go speak at colleges and stuff, and they go, do you feel responsible for representing Asian Americans? And I say, you should never, first off, look at me as a role model or anyone that should be speaking for Asian Americans as a whole, like as a president. Like I'll say my thoughts, but they are my individual thoughts. I have my own experiences, but at the same time, I can't stand by and watch while other Asians are pushing this fucking shit narrative that I do not agree with about our people, about the men in our society, about our value to other people, all that shit. Like they're talking about it as if it's the fucking truth. And I'm like, fuck no, it's not.
Yeah.
That's not my upbringing and that's not what I believe in. And I also want to go out there and start talking about this stuff because I actually want to help people that think this way.
Yeah.
If you are an Asian dude with low self-esteem and you don't get it yet, and you're using all this knowledge, all this research, all this fucking whatever you think are facts to argue for the point why you don't get laid, why you're not successful, why you can't get the job, why there's a bamboo ceiling, all these things. Now, I'm not denying that these things exist in society. I'm just saying it's not probably affecting you as much as you think it does. And you have every fucking power in your own personality, in your own lives, in your own fucking, if you put work towards doing this, of overcoming that and not being an expected stereotype that you think you are.
Yeah.
And we can change the bar because it's a perception thing. Because when we fucking started, the perception about Asian guys or Asians in general was they didn't have much. They thought we were foreigners. They thought we were, people that were nerds or maybe exchange students, or we didn't have a good brand in entertainment, right? And then we start to change shit. Wong Fu started to change stuff. Dancers, Asian dancers winning all of those America's Best Dance crews. They changed the perception. the fitness world. You have Bart, introducing Asians to powerlifting.
Which is crazy. You know what? I didn't even realize how big Bart was in terms of being a catalyst for Asian people who wanted to powerlift.
Yeah, he single-handedly brought Asian Americans to powerlifting.
I had no idea. He's like a godfather in that aspect. I mean, there's a lot of other people, but every time somebody mentions like a powerlifting, they mention Bart.
Yeah.
Like Bart was the guy's like, yo, Asian people can be buff, right?
Right. And no one, and that was something that Bart had to break, because when he was a lot younger, he went and saw buff Asian dudes. Because, when you go to, back then it was called Bally's Total Fitness, like there were a lot of ex-con Asian guys that are fucking ripped, right? Yeah. So when he saw that, and a lot of Asian guys had this mentality as if Asian men can't gain muscle. That was a stupid universal truth back in the 90s and early 2000s.
Yeah, I used to believe that when I was younger too.
Yeah, they somehow thought, I mean, dude, we're all human. We all have muscle. We all can fucking build muscle, right?
There's obviously, like, I forgot, I read it. I think it was like on Men's Fitness, but they were talking about how people who are, like black descendant, they do have like a genetic advantage or whatever, but it still doesn't mean that
it's impossible.
It's impossible.
Right.
They just mean they got an edge on it. That's all.
They just have a slight edge as well. So the thing is, it's all about believing in it first and foremost, right? But if the majority of the population believe this fact or this fucking statistic or whatever nerd shit they came out with of Asian guys being undesirable, I would break the fuck out of that research, because first off, what's their sample size? Who are they fucking asking? Where do they get this information?
I just want to see
it published.
I just want to see a Tinder photo of the guy. I just need to see a photo.
Yeah.
Like, but let me see what you look like,
But people
bitch.
will quote studies and they would quote statistics and all that, and I could break every fucking one of those things down, because what it does is it damages the self-esteem of our people. Mm-hmm. They believe this shit. And you have prominent figures in our community or people with a voice within our community, whether in academia, whatever, pushing this fucking bullshit. They're lying.
This podcast is brought to you by Purple. Do you have back pain? Do you sleep like crap? I guarantee you do, because you do not own a Purple mattress. My friends, I have slept so well since owning my Purple mattress. And in fact, I used to be a curmudgeon. I used to be a really surly, angry individual. Well, ever since I owned a Purple mattress, my life has changed, because better sleep equals better performance equals better everything in life. That's a David So guarantee. And what I'm saying right now is that my Purple mattress has given me the best sleep of my life. Thus, I'm better for it. And did you know that there's just like rocket science technology behind the material that is made from this mattress that's built for you to sleep really well? We're talking about rocket scientists developed it, my friends. Yes, I'm not BSing you. Dems is facts. So check it out. The Purple mattress will feel very unique to you. But guess what? 100-night risk-free trial. If you're not fully satisfied, you can return your mattress for a full refund, backed by a 10-year warranty, free shipping and returns. You're going to love Purple, and right now my listeners will get a free Purple pillow with the purchase of a mattress. That's in addition to the great free gifts they're offering site-wide. Just text BRAIN to 84-888. The only way to get this free pillow is to text BRAIN to 84-888. That's BRAIN to 84888. Yeah. Yo, let me tell you this too, real quick. The man who I was going to vote for, Andrew Yang, by the way, I fucking love the guy. I like what he stands for. I think like he's thinking about the future. He's very progressive in that sense. And I love the fact that he really puts the idea of the $1,000 thing, even though I joke about it, the reason why I like it is because it puts your destiny in your own hands. Mm-hmm. He goes, here's $1,000. Everybody above the age of 18 in your household will get $1,000 after you're 18.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
so
dope.
If you choose to have healthcare or you choose to have things, here's the ability to do it. Now it's really up to you.
Yeah.
I enjoy that a lot. Right? It seems a lot more plausible. Now, having said that, all this positive stuff, he is ugly as shit.
You think so?
I think he's a really good, I wouldn't say ugly. He's just a typical goofy looking Asian dude. Did you see how beautiful his wife is?
No.
His wife is a beautiful Asian woman. Like, she's so beautiful. Like, I'm like, and so what you saying about Andrew Yang then, son? He's not the typical Daniel Day. I'm saying
he's an alpha motherfucker. He was trying to be president. He doesn't give a fuck.
That's what I'm saying.
Confidence.
Man. He is the man that I'm talking about. Like, he's not typically what you say. I'm joking about the ugly ass motherfucker. He's not as attractive.
So you think he's out of his wife is out of his league?
I think when people see them, right, they might think that she's a little out of his league in terms of like physical looks, right? But yeah, that's coming from somebody like me anyways. But the point, what I'm saying is that look at his wife.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. And on top of that, too, she's a boss-ass fucking bitch.
Yeah.
And she decided to meet somebody who met her standards of being a fucking boss.
Right.
So what do you say about that? A man who arguably, who in my mind could be like the next president of the United States. Not in this term, but next term, you know?
And that's what I want to do is I really want to inject that confidence into our people that might be feeling bitter. They might be feeling lost. They might be feeling like, hey, why try? Because they don't like Asian people anyway, or they're not going to give us a chance anyway, or whatever, right? That mentality is a bitch. Like, seriously, like, you're a little bitch and you don't deserve to succeed because you are sitting there and you're guaranteeing your future's failure by sitting there and saying, well, you know, what's the point? Like, I'm not going to get a girlfriend because, you know, I live in this town and they're racist or whatever.
Well, move, bitch. How about that?
Right.
How about you fucking move, you pussy ass motherfucker? There's also this weird thing too, where people in the United States, where I don't understand where this happened, but people believe that where they are born, where they grew up, that they are guaranteed a job there, or they're guaranteed certain success where they're born. No, you're not. You're not guaranteed shit.
Yeah.
Like, I hear this a lot with people who look for jobs and careers, right? They go, oh, the jobs are so scarce out there. And it's like, well, yeah, you're still staying in the same city. You
get out.
Yeah, if you really want to, it's just like, no, what you're trying to say is that I want to make a living where I'm comfortable in, where I grew up in. That's okay to say that.
Yeah.
But to say that there's absolutely zero jobs for you out there makes no sense to me, because it's hard to say that because you haven't really looked.
As Cletus says, it's a free country, goddamn it. Go wherever you want.
You really can. And, you know, you have that ability. Like, if just to speak to like a lot of Asian dudes out there that probably grew up in a very white area where, yeah, probably you're not the standard version of what an attractive male is there, right? You do know that you have this ability to move elsewhere.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, women are so accepting when it comes to looks, when it comes to all of that. If you have charisma, if you have the ability to make people feel connected to you, it's hard for you to believe, I know, but if you have it, you will be able to find love. And it's like, what kind of women are you going for?
Yeah.
Are you going for superficial bimbos that like only go for a guy's looks? That is the minority, people. Like, that is not the majority of women. So like, all the guys that are saying this, I can clearly tell they have no experience with girls. They're just making up fucking rules.
Yeah.
They're making up assumptions and all this stuff. And so I'm just here like, okay, there is a school of thought here within our people that I completely fucking detest. I hate that shit. But how do I sit here and instead of making them feel like attacked, which I've probably been doing all my life because I hate this thought, how do I help them come into our world? Because our world is much more fun. Our world is full of enjoyment, love, friendship, socializing, going out, exploring the world. And, you know.
And I think the biggest thing is accountability. Like,
exactly.
I think a lot of people are scared of accountability, but accountability is freedom. You know why accountability is freedom? Is because it allows you to understand the world around you. Yeah. Like, what it does is says, I can change this thing that's fucking up. That's what I like about accountability. Exactly. It's like, oh, I am accountable for a lot of these things that are happening around me, but I have an ability to change it. Yeah. When you push your problems onto other people and everything else, like your race and your culture, you're basically saying, I can't do anything about it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sit around, I'm going to complain, and I'm going to make sure that everybody understand that it's never my fault. Yeah. It's because I grew up Asian. It's because I grew up in this town and this, but you don't want to change. You don't have an ability to change it. That's why I like accountability, because it shows that you could pinpoint what the problem is. You could take it and tear it down.
Exactly. And that's because we're leaders, right? Yeah. To me, that person who's talking, you know, he's getting stepped on. He feels like he has no options. He's also created mental barriers and limitations throughout his life. I don't know what happened. Like, you know, there are people, like, for example, you know, there's some public figures in the YouTube community, you know, that even though they've gotten some level of success, they have a chip on their shoulder. And then they believe this stuff because maybe they got bullied. Maybe it's all anecdotal, obviously, right? Like, they went through a bad experience. So from that point on, to me, I call this low level thinking, because if you don't want racism to be perpetuated, right? If you don't want these things to exist, you have to think above the people that you feel are your enemies. So if you're sitting there and you're like, white people bullied me, white people racist, white people this, right? You're doing the same exact thing as those racists by persecuting a whole entire group of people.
Yeah.
You gotta come above that and go, no, I'm not gonna let this asshole determine how everyone else is of this culture. There's great freaking people out there. It's just I had a bad experience, maybe with a handful of fucktards. But I like to believe that the majority of people are fucking dope and they don't want this. And so when you do the same shit to the people that are doing whatever shit to you, you're not rising above it. And to me, that is a victim. You're not a leader. A leader will rise above it. A leader will say, hey, guess what? This motherfucker robbed from me. But I'm not going to go around and be like, hey, now his whole fucking race is a bunch of shysters and a fucking bunch of, burglars and they're good for nothing people. You go, exactly. I had a bad experience, but guess what? I know there's 20, 30, 40 other people or whatever that'll make up for this one fucker.
Because I want to see, conversely, the people who are so vocal about being defeated because you're an Asian American male and these things aren't happening for you. Conversely, I want to see the confident, well-dressed, well-put-together, handsome, tall Asian guy that does that and says, you know what? Still, not a single girl will talk to me. And I guarantee you that person doesn't exist.
He does if he has low confidence.
I'm saying he has good confidence.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see that happen.
No, I haven't, because I know those guys. I even know guys that don't fucking look good.
Dog, I got a personal friend right now, right? This dude is, I think from an exterior, he looks like this like sex fiend, like he's Mr. Sexy Man, but he's a really, really shy fucking guy, right? Yeah. He's a good looking dude, very talented. And it's so fucking funny. It's like if it's just, let's say if it's just the confidence thing too, and women in general don't find Asian men attractive.
Yeah.
Dude, I've seen so much pussy thrown at this guy just because he looks like mysterious. And it's not that he's mysterious, he's just shy.
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's so funny.
And he's not confident in like the women stuff. I'm serious. Like he would text me, right? Mm-hmm. He goes, hey man, like I'm on this like dating app. This girl sent me this shit. Like, I don't know how to respond. I was like, well, what do you mean? So she'll send some shit like this. He'll be like, hey, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. And she'll write back, looks at his shit, likes the way he looks. She goes, hey, I'm just like down to fuck. Like, so what you doing tonight, right?
Wow.
This fool just wrote, that's cool. I'm like, what the fuck did you just?
Cool.
He goes, that's cool. I'm like,
do you want it?
I was like,
you don't know?
I was like, wait, so what did you say? He goes, I don't know. I didn't know what to say. I just wrote, that's cool. I'm like,
freaked out.
He freaked out. And I'm like, you sexy son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like there has never been a point in my life where a woman just looked at me and said, I'm down to fuck.
Yeah.
I had to giggle my way into that pussy.
Yeah.
So fucking hard.
But you used some type of skill.
Oh, for sure. I know what I lack and I know what I'm good at.
Right.
Like I have a mouthpiece. I can talk. Right. So it takes a little longer. The route's a little more difficult to go to Mordor, but I'm gonna get there eventually if that's what I'm looking for.
Do you know there is a section of our people, a shit fucking group of people that they'll go up and talk to girls, right? And if they get denied, they go, "Oh, what's up? You don't like Asian guys?"
Oh, of course. Fucking shit. Oh,
I've heard this multiple times.
It's like it's not. Don't blame it on our culture why women find you weird.
It makes you look small.
It does.
It makes you look weak, dude. Don't fucking say stupid shit like that.
Yeah, it's like also maybe it's just because you're ugly.
I think that's a lot of it is just ugly personality, ugly confidence, and just that's a part of the game, bro. Like you're supposed to get denied. Like you'll get denied by many, many, many women, just cold approaches before you find the one that gives you a chance.
Dude, that's the thing. You got to shoot your fucking shot.
Yeah.
When you shoot your shot too, guess what? Women have this ability to say no to you. It's their choice, you fucking rapist. You fucking
See, that's another incel thing to do is like they feel entitled to the women.
Yeah.
Like
who says?
Man, it's just so twisted, dude. So every time I hear this thought, right? I feel crazy because like I'll challenge it. But there's so many people that agree with it. I'm like, so that's your fucking universal truth. Like, that's it. Like, you guys, you agree on the fact that we're low value, we're not wanted.
I hate that
you know,
shit.
we're not looked upon as this and that, and then there's no solution. It's a circle fucking jerk of complaining. And to me, I'm like, if you think you're getting stepped on, to me, you deserve to be stepped on.
Yeah.
Because me, I refuse to be fucking stepped on, no matter what I do.
Yeah.
I refused. Even if I am getting stepped on, I still refuse to be there. And I want to rise up from it. And for me, it's like, okay, if you want a woman to like you in general, if you don't have the strength and the power to rise up and get what you want, that's such an unattractive trait to not have that confidence that you're gonna fight for it.
Yeah, and I was reading a comment on this certain video where this kid was like, he goes, yeah, I kind of relate to like Asian men not being attractive or wanted. Like when I used to be like 5 feet tall, and when I was like 300 pounds, I couldn't get a single girl to like, but then I lost weight and then I had a growth spurt. Now they like me. I was like, what's that got to do with you being Asian, bitch? You were 5 feet tall, 300 pounds. You were on the verge of death. What the fuck?
I don't know in any race where that would get the girls flocking to them.
That's what I'm saying. And look, I'm not saying fat people aren't attractive. I was a big guy. When I got Mariel, who, by the way, to me, Mariel's fucking beautiful. And it's like, when Mariel and I got together, I was huge. I was a big fucking
She got
guy.
you at your worst, bro.
She got me at my
It's
worst.
only uphill from there.
And I've had a conversation where I talked to her. I was like, what was your ideal guy? She goes, well, a guy that's very active, loves rock climbing, mountain climbing, he's fit. And I'm like, damn, I don't fit any of those categories.
And that's what I'm saying is women are so much more forgiving than men when it comes to looks. Like, she probably had this huge goal and criteria of the type of K-pop star she wanted.
Exactly. I did not hit that fucking
And
category.
you fucking swooned her, man. You just came up and fucking connected.
We connected and I broke that mold. I never thought of my weight being a crutch. That was the biggest thing. It wasn't a crutch.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, I'm big cute is what I thought. You know what I mean? I always
And
thought
people
that.
feel that, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I forget that you were fat.
Yeah. Yo, I was watching an old JK News and I couldn't. I was like, who the fuck am I looking at right now? I was like, was I really that fucking big? Like fucking shit, dude.
I saw when all three of us blew up.
Oh, yeah. Dude, we were all.
Bart looked like a toad. Dude, I looked like a fat hamster, man. It was so funny.
There was a point. If you guys may not have noticed this just because you guys watch this so often, but there was a point where all of us were all collectively at the fattest point of our lives. Like I was like 270. Joe was getting really big because this fool was trying to bulk, but he forgot to work out.
Yeah.
And then Bart was just going for powerlifting strength.
He looked like a fat toad. It was so funny.
He said he was like 230 pounds.
He was pretty big.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I was the biggest I ever was.
That shit was so fun though because we would eat hell a lot though.
Yeah.
We would eat so much.
I was like 170, 180, and I'm
Yeah.
only 5'6", so that was a lot.
So yeah, I mean, just to kind of wrap this up, like I do understand if you guys live in a certain area and that's just how you were treated, but to go in there and say that this is how it is for all of us as Asian men, because I can be the counter argument to you, right? Like what I grew up with in my experience. So who's here to who you can't validate my experience and not just mine, a whole shit ton of Asian men's experiences.
Yeah.
Outside of also just this country, like Joe was talking about when he was in Europe, his experiences with those men out there and how they're just nabbing any type of girl that they want.
I saw straight Asian dweebs with like hot model girls.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is the most oddest couple I've ever seen. But it's really, okay, at the end of the day, man, here's the thing. For you, you might believe this. It might be true for you. You might have even been through some racist experience or whatever. I'm not even going to deny the fact or brush it under the rug because it exists. Racism does exist and it sucks, right? Everyone that's listening to this, whether you're Asian or not, I want you to realize that you have the power to change it all in your own experience. And like, you know, maybe through these talks or maybe through these podcasts, you can find that confidence within yourself, because at the end of the day, I don't want people to feel like attacked for their thoughts and beliefs. I just want you to realize that there is an alternative to your world. Like, you don't have to be in that situation. There's a certain group of Asian guys that are out there that are pushing this fucking thought, that are thinking we're low value, that other races don't like us as much.
And they think that they're on your side, that they're trying to build you up, but they're not.
To me, that's perpetuating a thought and a culture that I fucking hate.
Yeah. They're allowing you to wallow in your self-pity and your hate, and they're feeding off that shit. Because it's validating their own insecurities, and now that they found another group of people who feel that way, instead of lifting each other up, they're like, no, this is where we're at, and we're going to be angry at the rest of the world.
And I'm not even going to... There's certain catchphrases, like, or there's certain thoughts, like, oh, an average Asian guy versus an average white guy, you know, the white guy's gonna do better in dating. Like, they believe weird fucking shit like this.
I don't understand. What is that? What is it? Where did you get that
exactly
from?
But first off, it's like, how do you even... What is even average?
Yeah.
What is the criteria for average? It's so subjective. It's based off of this stupid low self-esteem thinking. And to me, I fucking refuse it, and I refuse to believe it, because that's not my world, and that's not the world of a lot of people around me. And I think I want people out there to realize that. Don't fall into this way of thinking, because it's so poisonous to your mind, and it's guaranteed failure, and it's guaranteed low self-esteem. And so there is a way out, right? And the whole goal for us, I think, is we've always been at the forefront of shaping culture for our people. For our, you know, we have a different way of thinking because maybe we think more of a pioneer than someone who's reacting to what's happening.
Yeah.
Right? For us, it's like, okay, I see there's a problem, not even going to deny it, but let me go my own way, and maybe I can pave something so that other people can feel confident in saying, like, oh, these fucking idiots do it, I can do it too.
Yeah.
Right? And to show that there's other ways of thinking, and there's way better alternatives. And for you, if you're out there and you're just like, okay, I used to think kind of shitty about my own situation and my own people and dating or whatever, you can now take matters into your own hands and change your own luck and change your own destiny and all that.
You can literally, you every day that you're alive, you are writing your own story. At the end of the day, when whatever all your chapters close, what is the story that you're writing about yourself?
Yeah.
Right? Like, is that how you want to end it? Is this where the I don't know, fucking whatever, I don't know, Philip Wong or something like that. Wait, that's Wong Fu guy. Never mind.
Philip. No, he's Wang.
Okay, thank God.
No,
okay,
right? Wait, no.
Yeah, it's Wang. It's Wang.
Oh.
It's Wang. That's right. So let's say Philip Chang. All right. Let's say Philip Chang. Like, is that the story that you want to tell about yourself? Like, out of all the life experiences that you had, things that you could have done, and you go, you know what? At the end of the day, my chapter or my book's going to end at the world hates me. Nobody finds me attractive.
By the way, we're not talking about Wong Fu. We love those guys.
Oh yeah. No, they're not. By the way, Philip is fucking engaged. Like,
yeah. He knows how to date and be in love.
So he's good. I mean, he writes about it all the time.
Yep.
So, you know, what I'm saying is, like, if you out there, Mr. Philip Ching Chong Chang,
Ching Chang Wang,
you're writing this story, and that's the narrative of your book, is that I am unattractive because of my race, and this is where I lie. This is it. You have an ability to change that narrative. It's there. It's there for you. I'm not saying it's easy. Maybe if you live in an area where Asian men aren't found attractive.
Yeah.
But you do have that ability to do it.
Or they might not find themselves unattractive, but they might have this preperception that others find them unattractive. So they're not even going to try approaching them or making friends or making any type of connection with these women.
Yeah, and the comedy side of me wants to say, if you're a fucking ugly loser, that's probably the reason why.
So you need to build on the strengths. If you're an ugly fucking person,
make them laugh.
Make them laugh. Make your insides beautiful. Become a butterface. Work on your body or whatever. But at the end of the day, dude, it all comes down to being able to connect with another human being.
Yes, it really is, man. Like, I think the biggest thing was, like, Mariel and I connected on a very, like, I want to say, like, spiritual, just human level.
Yeah.
And that's what made me, like, so attracted to her, and that's what made her attracted to me. So
and women are giving us the answer 24/7. Like, I guess that a lot of guys are just not listening, and they always say personality. I like personality, right? And then like a lot of guys just can't believe how simple it is.
Yeah, and then also to, clean yourselves up a little bit. But definitely the personality thing has a big thing to do with it. Well, guys, that wraps up this episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. Coming in with that fucking heat. You guys already know every Thursday is going to have Joe unless he has bronchitis or some shit again.
Oh my God, dude, I was sick for over a month. A lot of bullshit.
But every Thursday, we're going to try to keep this stuff very like topic focused. I asked a lot of people when I was doing a couple of college tours like what they like, and they said that they like the focused topics every now and then with me and Joe. So I love it too, man. It keeps it nice and precise. So you guys can find us every Thursday, every Sunday. Genius Brain uploads. Take us on the commute. Have us just, I don't know, change our lives. Get that dick hard and that pussy wet. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
Bing, 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 bing.
Give us that 5-star. Leave the comments below, and we'll talk to you and see you next time. Peace.